media's image of beauty does not always reflect reality. It creates great pressure on women to look a certain way. What about those who do not fit the conventional mould? I investigate the world of alternative modelling to find out if it is more accepting, what makes a true alternative model, and if anyone, even myself, can be one. Ever since becoming aware of my appearance, I've also been aware that I'm not part of what people would call mainstream fashion, and as a result of the clothes I choose to wear and the way I wear my hair, I do attract a lot of attention from people on the street. And although I don't really consider myself to be modelling material, I do often volunteer to help out with student photography projects, and so far have proven quite popular among a number of young students.
For my photography project, I need someone that looked, well, a lot more different than everyone else, because everyone that I know, although a lot of them are my friends admittedly, they're all the same kind of person and sort of clothes that they wear and how they wear their hair, and it's just really samey and it's like sort of trying to pick out a clone out of everyone else. And with you, one of the reasons I did pick you was because of the fact that you've got all this sort of bright coloured hair and you're taller than a lot of the other girls that I know. The fact that you wear different clothes and which look quite gothic as well does help that fact. So yeah.
One thing I tend to notice with mainstream models is that they go from the one extreme to the other. At one end you've got catwalk and runway models and the sort of girls who are going to appear in Vogue, because they're very tall, very thin, with very androgynous faces, quite blank expressions usually. And then you have the girls in the middle, catalogue models, who are supposed to represent, you know, the average woman. They're all of a sort of average height, with a figure which is supposed to be average, although even with plus size models they don't have a particularly realistic shape. They're usually still quite slim compared to the majority of the population really. And then at the other end of the spectrum you have glamour models who are very voluptuous, and again they've all got the same sort of face, which is supposed to be stereotypically attractive to men because that is basically their job. They're selling their body to a male audience rather than selling a product. Then you've got people who don't fit into any of these categories and are not what you'd call mainstream. Models aimed at this particular audience are called alternative models, and the first thing a lot of people think of when they hear the term alternative model is really bizarre porn and kinky fetishes, but that's not really what it's all about, I don't think. Although the alternative community in itself may be a lot more accepting and open about issues such as sexuality, it's more about expressing yourself and being who you are rather than following the crowd and being a sheep. To find out more about alternative modelling, I've arranged to meet with the amateur model Lollipop for an insider's point of view.
I'm Lollipop, I'm 19 and I'm a student. I've been modelling for about a year and a half-ish, and I started because my boyfriend's sister's an alternative model and she basically dragged me along to loads of shoots. Promote myself through Facebook, Model Mayhem, Pure Storm, that's about it. Alternative modelling is a lot more accepting than mainstream modelling, because in mainstream modelling you've got to be this thin and this tall, and if you fit in the box then you're in, if you don't then you're out. But in alternative modelling, if you can be whatever you want, do whatever you want, wear whatever you want, and it's pretty much what they're looking for. I do want to incorporate modelling into my career, but not in and of itself. I want to open my own clothing store and sell custom corsets to people, and I think modelling will help because I'll know how to arrange the clothes on like mannequins and it also helps with marketing and selling stuff.
From what Lucy says, technically anyone at all could attempt alternative modelling and indeed succeed at it to the extent that she has. But what I find more interesting is that Lucy sees her modelling as a way of gaining business skills for later life. This gets me wondering what it's like to actually make a career out of alternative modelling. Intrigued by what else can be gained from alternative modelling, I met with the multi-talented, belly dancing, live-action role-playing, successful alternative model, Rona McDonald.
Hiya, my name's Rona Jane MacDonald, but my modelling alias is Captain Maximus Ron. I'm 18 years old and I live in Nottingham. I've been modelling since I was 15, so I've just turned 18, so that's just about 3 years now. A lot of the modelling work I do is commercial modelling with an alternative spin on it. So I model for sort of alternative jewellery companies and costume companies such as the Custom Costume Company, and Kitsch Chaos is another one I've worked for. Just sort of doing things to promote their products. For me personally, I find alternative modelling to be a lot more accepting and easier for me to be involved with because of my height and my weird hair. A lot of professional sort of agencies and mainstream companies, I'm not really what they're looking for, but I love modelling, I love being in front of the camera, I love doing runway and catwalk, and the alternative scene likes people who are different. It likes people from sort of all areas who have a quirk or who have a difference about them, whereas mainstream modelling kind of wants everyone to be the same sort of canvas, and I'm not really into being the same kind of canvas as someone else.
Having spoken to a number of models now, I've decided that I'd quite like to give modelling a go myself. So I've contacted a photographer based in Stafford, and he's agreed to take me on, and we're doing a small shoot together on Saturday. Armed with copious amounts of eyeliner, false eyelashes, huge freshly dyed hair and my favourite corset, I was ready to go. I met Simon at Stafford Station and we got to work.
I'm neurophiliac. I've been so disillusioned.
After an unsure start, I soon got into the swing of things, despite the terrible weather.
I couldn't be your friend. My world was too unstable. You might have seen the end, but you were never able to keep me breathing as the water rises up again.
And so, my first venture into the world of alternative modelling comes to an end. It's an experience I plan to repeat again, and to conclude, I believe that anyone who would class themselves as a little bit different, be it in size, hair colour, or having a face full of piercings, could easily succeed as an alternative model. All it really takes is confidence in yourself.
The invitation to a stranger's car. I'm blessed with the ability to render grown men tongue-tied, which only means that when it's dark outside I have to run and hide. Can't look behind me, thank God.